Hello all, my name is Methuselah Reginald and I'm here to give a lecture on plant tissue culture. So, if you ask me what is plant tissue culture, it is nothing but growth of cells or tissues in an artificial medium after they are separated from the parent plant or the parent organism. This is also called as micropropagation, and this uses a liquid or semi-solid growth medium such as broth or agar to help this process. Basically, I'm very fascinated with this topic because if you take into consideration 100 years back, if you go back 100 years, and if you told someone that I have this technology to produce a plant in vitro conditions, without the soil, I can just take a tiny part of the plant, any part of the plant, and I'll be able to produce a complete clone in the laboratory. They would have called me a mad person, like in the past. But now we see there's so much of advancement in science that the plant tissue culture can be used in. It has a major role in many processes and today's developments. So basically, what this plant tissue culture is, a healthy plant cell, one single cell, can be taken, and this tiny plant cell has the property to divide into a whole new plant, which looks exactly like the parent plant. And another fascinating thing about this is, in plants, we can take any part of the plant, any region of the plant, and this can be developed into a completely new mature plant. This property is exploited in this process of tissue culture and culture mediums. So there is a name for this phenomenon. It's called as totipotency. It is the ability of generation of a whole body of the organism from a single cell of it. So because of this property called as totipotency, we can take a tiny part or a tiny cell from the plant and develop it into a completely new plant using the tissue culture. So if we see in animals, or let's say humans, there's only one cell which has this ability, that's the stem cells, which has the totipotency ability, which can be used in a wide range of applications, like to produce liver cells or to produce nerve cells. But whereas when we take plant cell, mostly we take the part of the plant either in the tips of the plant, either on the top or the bottom, like the root meristems or the shoot meristems, which are in a completely fast process of division, cell division. We see rapid cell divisions occurring in these places. So this is what is plant tissue culture. And to to use this plant tissue culture, we need some conditions to be maintained. So one of these conditions is the nutrient source. Nutrient source is very important in plant tissue culture because nutrients are required for the survival of any plant. So since we are growing these plants in vitro conditions, like the mediums which we prepare, we need to mimic the nutrient source which is available in soil directly to the plant. So to to give the nutrients, there are types of nutrients called as macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are the nutrients which are required by the plant in large quantities. For example, the most required one is nitrogen, then there's phosphorus, and there's also potassium. When it comes to micronutrients, these are less used nutrients. Example is like molybdenum. Mostly we use a medium called as MS medium. This is most widely accepted medium and used to grow the plants in the plant tissue culture. Then a second condition which we need to take into consideration is the environmental factors. Since we are all aware that environment plays a major role in the growth of the plant, and the conditions of the environment are directly proportional to the growth or not growing of the plant, we need to take into consideration the environmental factors or physical factors like temperature, pH, and the light. So basically, pH, we need to maintain the pH of the medium which we prepare for the plants which are growing in the plant tissue culture. And also, when we come to temperature, we know that some plants require higher temperature and some plants require lower temperature, and also these optimum conditions need to be followed in the laboratory in order to get the positive result. When we come to the light source, we all know that the plants require sunlight for photosynthesis, and this helps the plant to, produce it, synthesize its own food. So since it is difficult to provide, make a lab or build a lab where sunlight is always available, we make use of artificial lamps or artificial lights in the laboratory, and these lights can be maintained and can be controlled with the help of computers, and automated lights are used. Like when we take, for example, some plants require a longer period of light for them to develop faster, and some plants may require lesser time period of light for them to develop faster. So all these need to be taken, precautions need to be taken, and we need to study the parent plant in the nature and how much light it requires, and then follow it. And also we need to take into consideration that when plants use sunlight, they basically require photons from the light. So if we can reproduce, this light in the laboratory conditions so that they can take in only photons, this can be used in the tissue culture. This is being used extensively. Then the third condition would be the growth regulators. The growth regulators are also very important for the growth of the plant. Basically, the growth regulators are nothing but the plant hormones which help the plant in growing. There are some examples of the plant hormones are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, ethylene, and abscisic acid. Auxins are very important because they help in plant growth. Gibberellins help in maturation of cell, and also they help in the plant to grow taller. One important plant hormone is the cytokinin. This is used extensively in plant tissue culture because this helps in the cell differentiation and the cell division process. And since we take a tiny part of the cell, like either the tip of the shoot or the tip of the root, we do not know if all the plant hormones can be produced from that tiny part of the cell. So it is recommended we use these plant hormones for the normal growth of the plant. And one more example is the ethylene. Ethylene is a gaseous hormone. This hormone it is usually used during the ripening of the plant. For example, if you take bananas, it is widely known that if we take one ripened banana and place it in midst of the unripened bananas, we see that the unripened bananas ripen because of the ripened banana. This is because ethylene is released there, and this is a gaseous hormone which alters and helps the banana to ripen. This is one of the growth regulator. Then when we go to how this process is done, when we take the when we go to how this process is done, we need laboratories, and we need aseptic conditions, and also we need to sterilize all the equipment which we use in the plant tissue culture. So for the use of this, we use a plant tissue culture test tube, which is a little bigger and fatter version of a normal test tube, and we need to ensure that we cover the, as soon as we place the cell, we need to ensure that we cover it with cotton so that we do not allow the microorganisms or pathogens to enter. And we also need to see the process by which this is done. Like first, when we take a cell and then it is placed into the medium, and then we see a callus formation. What callus is basically is, it is the undifferentiated mass of the cells, and this is very important in the plant tissue culture. Once the callus is done, then the plant is progressed after that. And then once the plant is formed, once the plant is developed, we cannot immediately put it into the soil to grow, because the plant is basically not yet adapted to the soil. It cannot be completely adapted, or it cannot directly grow from the laboratory into the soil. So first we need to take a soil medium, and this also needs to be sterilized under the conditions by which there is no virus or pathogens which can affect the plant. Once the plant has got used in the soil medium, then we need to transfer it into the soil and it grows. So plant tissue culture has many uh, applications in the field of science. It can be used to produce clones. It can be used to produce take a tiny part of the plant and make it into a multiply the number of plants from the single plant. Thank you.